looking forward to this meeting. December 14th, we had two work sessions. In a sidebar work session, if you want to make any comments relative to the TTM. Okay. Want to do that now?
Yeah, TTM, it went very well, actually. It was a good meeting. We actually extended it into a site. From the point of view of recommendation from the board for making more parking besides 25%. That's based upon what their actual needs were, and they were going to document that. And it was a good review of architecture and we have a site in the sense. So that's the main solution. So very.
Okay, were there any notes that share?
Yeah, they're supposedly writing everything up the summary.
Okay.
I did record the design of these sessions, so it is recorded.
Good. Other work session. The building, the third building in the middle building, yes, comments. And they're making progress, and that those are work session.
Further comments and
the high tax building.
Yeah, no, that was that. The only comments in the third.
I'll bring that.
Okay, motion.
Ethan Allen,
Ethan Allen, thank you. Very productive.
I did get a phone. I told Peter I got a phone call from Joanne Gagliano, and she informed me that she was going to have drawings in here hopefully next week for the permit. So I mean, what she told me, so the board was fine with that. There were just some details on lighting, signs,
Yeah.
things.
This was lighting and signs were the key.
So that's what we're there. Okay. It's at Ryan said a couple other things over on Ethan Allen. That he's gonna get back on the agenda for January. So
But he's going to work on the foundation. You're going to get that
very good to go
on the foundation permit.
for Ethan Allen.
Not very good.
Ethan Allen,
Yeah, like comments.
They all make comments.
Right, but he was talking to Ethan Allen.
No, I know Ethan Allen, but I thought they were also good for the foundation permit.
Yeah, Ethan or Allen.
No, I thought it
Ethan
was,
Allen's already got their foundation, they have a whole building. It's
Yeah.
a building.
no, I understand that, but they were going to do some.
But I think Vincent with Ethan Allen
Yes,
is fine for the demo.
that's what I'm referring to. That's what I recall.
Yeah,
he's fine.
They have their. He's fine for demo.
Yeah.
I believe he has a demo. Yeah, there's just some changes.
That's not
we made.
right.
It needs to come
We'll
back.
amend their site plan when they bring the materials back.
Okay, and so the minutes, I have a motion to approve the minutes. Kathy first, Nathan second, all in favor? Okay. All right, this is the first on the agenda today. It's a subdivision for Woodchuck Hill, splitting of 10-acre parcels into 8 parcels, creating housing lots. And this is just a motion for a public hearing. We've kind of looked at all of this. Is there any?
Yeah, it's just a brief update. We have subdivision plan provided by the surveyor. That's good. We're looking at our second set of comments from the health department. The first round, we hit those, and now we got a second set. 2 minor changes. We rotated one septic field and we adjusted one house as we fine-tuned the final locations of those fields. So that's pretty set. So we're close on that, and then our attorney Mike Fogel and Jamie to get together and get the language worked out for the stormwater agreement. And then we're just looking forward to the scheduling public hearing. If you guys had any comments.
No, we reviewed it.
Yeah,
Two times in concept of work sessions. I'm just looking at the date for the next meeting, which is the 11th. So that's the public hearing, 7:05. Nathan, is that okay with you? 7:05 on the 14th of January.
that's great.
Today's the 11th. Yep. Thank you. Motion. Nathan, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, Northwood Flex Building.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adult care, like Mulligan,
And me.
me, okay,
I haven't been before you guys in a while, but I thought it was important that I attend this meeting because I'm the target of this investigation here. I just want to give you a little brief discussion on what we did and why we did it and why we're here and what our future plans may be. First of all, I'm the developer of the site. I built this building 12 years ago. I ran a business there for the past 7 or 8 years after that, and I closed it. I closed it because there was problems with parking and there's problems with noise from the town. I got a lot of complaints. So we closed the business, and I tried to sell it or lease it to other restaurants, but nobody wanted it. So I went to the town and got a building permit, full set of plans and specs by my architect. We checked with the town to see if the uses were permitted, and they were. We got a building permit. We went through the whole restaurant and converted it into 2-family. The 2-family took about 6 or 8 months to build, very difficult construction project. I was a construction manager. Several inspections. Not one person from the town, not one. Not one from the building department, not one person from the inspectors said that you have to go before the planning board to get this approved. Finally, we had the project finished and we got a certificate of occupancy. I leased the 2 units to individuals that created less traffic, no noise, and no parking issues. Secondly, I went to the town again with a full set of drawings and requested that I turn the pavilion into a garage that we needed for storage of our materials. I once again got a building permit. Not one person from the town said one thing about any planning board, any of the site plan approval, anything. We built it, got it done. Then I had a building next to it, which was the winery building, which was also a building that was a retail building. And I know there was some discussion about, uses that are tied in. Well, let me tell you, there's a big difference between running a restaurant and running a retail building and the winery building. 2 different uses, 2 different state licenses, by the way. So we told them, I think Mr. Weber met with my architect, and there was another fellow who's no longer here, I guess, Mr. Brown, and let him know of our interest in a adult daycare for people with special needs. And those people, we lease the space to them, as I do. That's what I've been doing for the past 50 years. I've been leasing space in various parts of this town and other towns. So, and Northwood Business Facility is right next door, and we have 15 different tenants, which I lease to office warehouse space. So I lease this space with the help of my gentleman friends from Pyramid Brokerage. And this woman is a woman-owned business. She came from Canandaigua, New York. She operated a business in Canandaigua, New York, and she leased it. She started working there, hiring people. Very difficult, find people. So finally, we go through the, I wasn't here for that meeting, but I did watch it. And I had my attorneys, Mike Serafine was here, and Mike Wolniak, and I heard all the comments. Well, last night I got a letter from my tenant, and she said, I'm done. I don't want it. They don't want me there. I'm not going to be there anymore. So we don't have it. There's no more adult daycare coming to that building. So now I got a situation where a lawsuit is being filed by this woman, and I'm involved in that, as with my other associates with Pyramid Brokerage, based on the usage issue, because the town doesn't want, they wouldn't approve it. In the time, she was there, she was spending money, she's got over $100,000 invested. I've got over $50,000 or $60,000 invested, it's gone. Gone. Now we got a building that's empty, or will be empty. And I can't get any answers from the town building department. They won't even talk to me. We've tried to contact the town attorney, the planning board attorney. The planning board attorney will not respond to my attorney.
That is
I'm,
rude.
can I have the floor, please?
I'm just going to answer that right now because.
Well, I
I'd like to-
have words from my attorney to the opposite. Okay?
Well, let's
I'll
move this
finish,
along,
yeah,
please.
So anyway, so now,
Through as much of what you have said here today.
okay, can I finish? with-
Yeah, just wrap it up.
Finish.
So anyway, there's two attorneys said this, by the way. So now we're in a situation where I've got a building that we don't know how to occupy it. We don't have anybody in it. And we don't even know the procedure of how we'll go forward to occupy that building, because if we have to go through this again, we'll never be able to put a tenant in there. So we got two options, three options. One is we leave it and just have an empty building that we can't use, which is too bad because it's a beautiful building. The second option is that we have a office warehouse building like we have adjoining the site. And we could come and lease it based on the uses that we have and given the existing site. And if you don't want to do that, then the third option would be to build an apartment there, put an apartment in that building. That's the way I see it.
Okay, are you finished?
Yeah.
Thank you. All I can comment on relative to my meeting with Terry Brown at the time was interim director of planning and development for the town. And myself and Mike Woniak, and there may have been another individual in attendance, I can't recall.
No, it's just
2 months ago.
Just a three.
And that was the first time that I was made aware of it, of the adult daycare of the apartment. And it was a surprise to the town through Terry. And so we then laid out a plan to proceed through Mike, getting our head around whether it was a change of use, whether it was allowable, etc. So no decisions were made. We just looked at it because it's one parcel. I think it's two. It's a business transitional as well as industrial.
Industrial.
Yeah, so there, nothing, and we received nothing other than some preliminary thoughts and ideas from Mr. Wallman. That's where the last that we have heard formally in terms of the planning board. And then as far as any responses, I can certainly vouch for our consultant, Jamie Sutton, that she responds to everything that. And she's kept us informed of any conversation she's had relative to that. So we're waiting for any type of application submission on your part to respond to. We're here to try to make things work. This is an unusual site, and I respect restaurant business is very difficult. And I respect what you did to put that in. We knew that it was, that potentially we tried to, and you did as well in terms of the berm and everything else and parking. So you gave it a very good faith effort. No argument there. Now you're in a different place, and planning board is here to assist you through proper submission. All of that is on the website. I'm sure your attorneys and Mr. Woniak is very well versed in how to present.
The thing is that if you have a tenant and you have a building and the building is ready to go, you can't go through a whole special use permit if it conforms to the use. I mean, look how long this took. That person spent all this money and all this time. So I'm saying if that's the procedure, then I'm going to just ask if this planning board would allow us to just build another apartment there.
I think that is separate.
So simply using the property, just
I-
allows.
Would allow that.
Family, for 22 family.
I have to look to see exactly what the words say.
Right.
For that section.
Let me just say, generally in these cases, and I've been involved with this for the last 17 years, developer, such as yourself, architect would come and meet with the town representative and the planning board chair primarily to just discuss what options are available. We would then consult with our legal counsel and engineer if it was necessary and move forward in very quick and expeditious fashion. And that's possible, but we didn't know about what you were doing. And so if we don't know about it, there's no way for us to respond.
I was, the use that went into that building was permitted,
Well, all I say is,
Pardon?
which building?
the winery building. It's permitted within the business transitional zone. What we did not know, and based on the fact that I didn't have to do it with the restaurant building, we did not know that just because I was this building fit like a glove. She went right in there. I had no renovations. I've never had to go through this unless I had renovations to the exterior or significant renovations to the interior. And when I had significant renovations to the interior, I got a building permit. I mean, they knew that what I was doing over there. It was no secret. I had an inspector go through the building, the winery building, and inspect it for fire. He went right through it. And it passed. So I'm letting you know, this is really a very difficult thing for me. This is the last, I don't want to take any of your time, but I want to get this building decided one way or another.
I can tell you that the planning board and the town board is here to assist you and any applicant that comes through here. We do it very successfully. You can see a lot of award-winning projects and
One of them is mine.
and it was a wonderful building. So all you had to do is ask, send your representative to talk beforehand. And as soon as we found out what he was planning, we weren't sure whether this use was allowed or not. And it's one parcel, so there's mixed use. Was not, I don't mean a mixed use in terms of living, it was mixed use in terms of adult daycare and an apartment complex, an apartment.
And that's the last correspondence we got was, I think, last week. Okay, and they said something about a mixed use was permissible. I mean, there was a time when this discussion was there was no mixed use permissible on a single parcel. So we just heard about this.
So, and to be fair, because Mr. Moniak was here, so was Mike Seraphy, where we talked about this issue of the mixed use or possibly a subdivision. And this is the only time we have ever seen, and most of us have been doing this a long time, have seen that mixed use in the business transitional zone. And there was some initial trepidation and confusion as to whether that could happen. But ultimately, it was determined that we could look at a mixed use. And that's the letter that you have.
So as of right now, you're saying that a mixed use, meaning office, warehouse, and apartment is permitted on that site?
I can't tell you exactly what uses without looking at the code.
No, but I mean,
but
within the uses that you are showing in the code, because we've got the list, A to Z.
Yeah.
So within
right,
those,
I have to look at it. So
okay, but within those uses, are we able to do it without going to the planning board if we make no changes to the building?
no.
Okay,
So you have site and parking.
so I'm getting an answer on something that I'm coming to get an answer on.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be very difficult to operate that way as a developer, because I got existing building, tenants wanna move fast. Okay, the second question, I think you might have helped on that. So in other words, could I build an apartment in that building?
That's what we need to look at.
And I can't answer that on the fly, but it looks like that building it would be a single use in a business transitional zone, but it would be a change of use from what it was. So you would still have to come here, but it would not be an arduous process.
Do I have to, would that require?
But again, I have to make sure that is.
All right, well, at least this would give me a direction upon which to make an application. Would that require a ZBA special use permit?
No.
Okay, so you have your answer about the application. That's what we'll submit. We'll submit an application.
Well, here's what we need to do. If you can let me know what you're proposing exactly, then we can tell you exactly what's required, right? If you go the mixed use route, if you decide not to do 2 apartments.
So just one apartment in that building. That's,
It's a 2 building.
oh yeah, the first building, the restaurant has 2 units.
Mhm.
The second building, which was a tasting room, winery, we'll put 1 unit in there.
The one that was going to be the adult daycare.
Yes,
So you're gonna have 1 use on the lot, and I need to make sure that it comports with what our code says, because it's more than, one family, and I just don't know it right off the top of my head.
Let's get them up.
no, wait over here.
Not gonna decide right now why you're handing this to me, so just so
So
you know.
our point being that you don't have to wait till the next meeting. You can, when you make a submission, or if you want to follow up now that we understand exactly what's going on in the property now, that we can make those determinations, the more expeditious way. And not have you go through each process, and we can make this a lot smoother.
Okay,
Plus, now we have, yes, it is conform. It's a little more unusual mixed use than we're normal. We require real walking paths and other things like that, more landscaping, but you have the vineyards, you have some other things that could work.
one of the
very nicely.
nicest gardens and
Yeah.
walking.
No,
path.
it's beautiful there, so. You and Michael can
The
work
second building is
together.
going to be 1 apartment.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have to. I have to look at that.
These buildings are connected by utilities. Electrical, gas is all.
And you're proposing making it the same parcel?
Yeah.
Continuing the same parcel. Do we need anything else?
No, I think that if.
Just
once-
proceed.
Once we want to determine, I hear what you want, want to make sure it fits, and then it would be site plan. If you're going the apartment route.
Which would be
Piece of cake.
a piece of cake, because you're overparked for 3 apartments now.
You have landscaping.
You have the landscaping, the walkways are there, everything is there, so it's a.
We need site plans to show what it is and what parking you need and what you don't need and what you might want to do with that. If you want to make that.
Well, I think Mr. Miller asked for like what might be the plan for the future and, I don't know if I should get into that.
Well, all I would say on that
On the
is,
industrial site,
Yeah,
I think if you want to get this done.
yeah, let's get this
I
done
don't want to
first.
confuse anyone.
No, but my point my point being relative to the master plan and that we do this for many projects. It doesn't have to be something final that you're testing that this is going to be it 5 years from now. We know it'll change.
Okay.
But if hypothetically you don't need all of that and you want to make that green space, we would be amenable to looking at that. If you say, hey, I'm not really sure, but this is the parking I need, because we need to know that you have enough parking, which I'm sure you do, relative, because you need like 1 or 2 per.
For future, right?
Yeah, so for future, but you would have to document as to what those spots are.
And he's got it.
He's got them.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You got it.
So you want to.
Do you want me to show and go through, or?
You don't need any more, right? At this point, don't you need just an application from us, right? Or do you want
Correct,
to?
but
If Mike wants to show
Have you done
what
something, Mike?
sure.
What's that?
Have you done something?
You worked really
Yeah,
hard.
actually, I have it all done, it pretty much.
well, so why don't you show it?
Go ahead, Mike, come on, you do a great job. Much better than me.
Well, thanks for the summary.
Go to the, no, why don't we go to
I'm not letting Fred.
planning board? Go to the photos now. Start with photos. Just wanted to introduce, if you're not familiar, start with this one here. These are, yeah, good. Okay, this is the This is the Greenwood Winery as it was, how then do I advance that?
Right arrow, right there. See, it says
Oh, next, okay, all right. This is the way it was constructed and completed and operated as a winery. You can see this was the existing building that was converted into the 2 apartments, and this is the building that we're talking about. You can see the continuity in terms of architectural expression, and you can see some of the landscaping that exists currently. This was the rear of the building that was converted into, or the apartments. You can see that there was patio spaces there. There's landscaping. There are paving areas. There are walkways in through this. This is in an attempt to address the letter that was sent and questioning whether or not these amenities were existing on site.
Yeah, we sort of knew they were existing. We didn't know if your intent was to keep them.
Oh, yeah, they're there. They were expensive to put in, and they're going to continue to stay there.
Yeah, maintaining.
This is the winery building that was being converted into the single apartment or the adult daycare. You can see the landscaping that was put in, the paving, the granite curbs, et cetera, et cetera. This is just pretty much to introduce you to the site. You can see the other building in the distance. Just so you're familiar with what's there. The continuation of paving from our walkways from the parking area, the existing parking areas into that back landscaped area and patio space
That's the distance between the 2 buildings. It's about 15 feet.
total. Now, it was built, or this building was constructed first, so all the utilities go to this building and then are fed off to this building. So to divide the property is virtually impossible because you would have to provide separate services for each of the 2 buildings if they become separate sites. So to subdivide the property, it's not going to happen. It can't happen. And then the concern about connecting the buildings up that was also expressed in the previous meeting would be problematic too, because of the potential for it becoming an R2 occupancy. You may have to sprinkle the existing apartments that are already occupied in conjunction with the new apartment that would be created in this building. So again, there are additional layers that would be required, and providing us the sprinkler service for those 2 buildings would be exorbitant in terms of what it would do to the site, digging up the site to provide the additional water service. More of the existing going around the building, you can see the fences, things that were already in place, the landscaping. Where's the thing?
Those berms that, for those who haven't been there, there's really wonderful berms that go all the way through to protect the neighbors.
Well, the neighbor,
It might be the
Heights
last
neighbor.
one.
I think you're
Heights neighbor.
well, yeah,
No, there are several more that I started in the middle because they came from another.
Restart at the
You have to start at the beginning again. It won't just start
Or
at the
just-
beginning.
I have to
Yeah.
close this out.
Yeah, just click the first one.
All right.
Wait.
So this is some of the landscaping that's in place currently. You can see how lush it is, and the photographs that I had shown you previously were when the building was completed. This is how it looked, I think, when the winery was in.
no, that's how it looked this summer.
Okay.
And we left the chairs there, and instead of the fire pit, I planted flowers.
All right, so you can see this.
Just a quick question, are the vineyards staying or you're re-landscaping?
I have, at this moment in time, I'm gonna leave them there until we decide what we want to do.
It's not a deal breaker, but it'd be nice to know when you do your final site plan.
Well, right now, I wanna leave,
Okay,
you know,
Okay, this is the north side of the existing winery building that was going to be converted into the adult daycare facility. And this is the building in question. There's what was a parking area that would have been provided as a patio area for the tenant that was going to occupy the building. And this is the Northwood
Northern
office warehouse structure that's located to the north of this development. This is the quality of the landscaping that exists surrounding that building. So it's a decent build out.
These are blocked. My word.
I would jump.
This is the guy doing the clip. Yeah.
So, Michael, what's the, moving this on, what is, are you doing anything in the exterior of the building?
Nothing was going to be done to the exterior. That's why I just wanted to show you what's
You're
there.
dealing with the big
And
poles,
now
right?
everything that was going to be done to the interior.
Well, that, with all due respect, that's what I got, and the other two buildings, I mean, they're great, they're amazing, they're 2,300 square foot apartment. So this particular building, we were gonna take out the overhead doors and just put in windows.
Oh, you would take out the old.
Yeah, they have, I mean, if we're putting in an apartment.
Yeah, because they need that. My goodness.
Well, I guess we're
That's not.
Living room.
if we can get these, send these plans. And I wanna look at these, but I understand.
So, okay, Michael, if you just send these to the town so we can look these over and just get our head around everything.
Everything has been submitted to the town already,
Okay.
multiple times. The only one that has not been submitted would be this one, the conversion of the building to the apartment. And if I can just show you that, this is what the intent was to be. Becomes a 3-bedroom unit with den, living room, dining room space. That existing building that had the 2 apartments in it is located here. That patio area that I showed you with the landscaping out front, this is the building. The existing mechanical space would stay. Some of the bathrooms that have already been in place and the kitchen area would be just modified and upgraded. And that's essentially what would be done if this building has to be converted to an apartment. So it's already been worked out as to how it could.
Yeah. So we're just gonna confirm with the definitions and we'll get back to you, next week.
Do you want a formal application for the apartment?
Let's
Well,
take one
let's
step.
just make sure we have, that we fit into the code, and then, yes, if you've got it already, then it'll just be a couple days.
What if it doesn't fit into the code?
Well, I'm hoping it does fit in the
Yeah.
code, but I'm not trying to have it not fit in.
And it really,
It's a-
it really looks like an excellent use,
So,
to be honest, from my perspective. It's beautiful.
She really was trying. I don't know what video you were watching, but when you were here the last time, she was trying to find every little thing to make it so it would work for you.
but we'll figure it out.
People figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
One last thing, in the letter that was directed, the survey that was provided. They said it was 10 years old. It has a revision date on it that wasn't observed, and that puts it current.
Okay.
And then there was some issue with regards to grades. We have a survey or a site plan that was generated for the winery that has and was approved by the town board with these grades. So I can submit this to you.
Mike, in any kind of a comment letter, you can just, get your response.
Yep.
Although that was the intention of the multi-use, so I think, but those basic ones, yeah, the survey and all.
The whole
Yeah.
site has been designed for all of it. There's been a huge detention area put in, there's storm sewers put in. It's all in.
So, Jamie will get back to you and your attorney, just to confirm that.
Well, you can go back to Mike Serafin, he's gonna handle it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael, thank you. Kind of nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Peter.
Okay, Mr. Benderson, this is something we're looking forward to. I drove by today. This is a development opportunity.
Yes, it was. It was a good opportunity.
Your name, sir?
Matthew Oates.
Matthew, thank you. You know, I know we do a lot on Google Maps and stuff, but if you don't get a chance to drive by some of these sites, I really encourage you. This one is one where it's really shoehorned in. And when this building is gone, it's gonna present all sorts of opportunities. All the way up from Sonic. Through.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board, Matthew Oates with Benderson Development. We were the owners of 3192 Erie Boulevard. We had the opportunity to purchase 3188 Erie Boulevard as well. So what our proposal is, as the board knows, this building's been vacant for a while. We've had trouble leasing it. The access around the building is dead end at the back. There's not a lot of parking. So what our proposal is to actually demolish 3188, combine the two parcels with the front drive, do new parking along the side, new sidewalk, some additional parking in back, add additional green space along the property line and in the back, and then provide circulation all the way around the building. It'll make loading easier. It'll make overall access for the site easier to really clean it up. We think it's going to make this building much more leasable and really helps hopefully attract tenants to get in there quickly once we get this work done. And our plan would pretty much be to start as soon as the board approves it. Once we get into the spring, get the building demolished, get the site, and do it as quickly as we can.
Well, the track starts today, correct? With, what is the, I mean, for, I think it's the end of December, right? It's the 21st. The next. 21st. Yeah, it's the 21st. For the,
So to get onto the next track,
which is,
the 21st, you'd have to have a full submission, application, everything in the office.
So didn't we part of this, we already made the full still, I thought, we have the application, we submitted,
Are you given a track number?
I don't believe so, yeah.
well, you got.
Oh, for the concept, so I believe we made it, so we can follow up tomorrow
Yeah,
on that as well and get in the process, but yeah, we have full engineering drawings done, we had everything.
It's all in,
Yeah.
they can assign a track number to you.
Okay.
And you'll be on the meeting in the 11th.
Of January.
Yes.
Okay.
And if there's something that's needed, the Tuesday prior to that for a work session, if there's any questions, I don't believe there will be, but, you haven't attracted a tenant yet.
Not
or you
yet,
haven't-
no.
Okay.
Typically, the way it generally would work is with the tenants. Once we at least get the approval and then we can start to give a construction timeline, that'll start to help get the tenants. Once we're actually building it, that'll help even more. And by the time we have this built, I hope we would have someone else that's coming into the building. And then we're also just, we're doing a 3-lot combination as well. This is actually 2 existing tax.
My question, I'm gonna
Which
just.
buildings are they right now? Like, if I were to, look at them,
Call
is
this.
it like the
green-
kitchen?
This
The
is
green,
This is the green building, the green
Yeah,
green
that's
building,
the
and then
pet
that was the
place.
kitchen supply.
Okay.
And then Smith Interiors.
Yeah.
And the Smith Interior.
So the one thing that becomes critical here, and I'm sure Mark would chime in on it too, is this has traditionally been an area that we've had a lot of stormwater complaints.
Okay.
So as you move forward, that where it comes down, it's kind of in a hollow.
Okay.
So,
Who knows what
if you could address that as we move forward.
Yep.
That's gonna be a critical.
Okay.
And I think it's been somewhat problematic for people to tie into the DOT stormwater at that location, so the town doesn't necessarily have the stormwater connection points
Okay.
back there.
Yep. Yeah, because the way the site is currently designed, its chief flows all kind of into the green space. Really, kind of what it does. I mean, we are adding more green space that'll help the stormwater flow a little bit, provide more infiltration areas forward as well. And we can try, if there's no stormwater connections available, try to kind of create it in a way where it uses the existing areas around as well.
So just one quick question, like, so once, the demolition of the building is not an issue, and
Yeah.
those engineering are very pertinent. My question would be, will your parking and entrances and things change relative to your site work, once you do have a tenant?
That would not be our plan, no. I mean, there may be some savings, building changes, or any kind of they want side changes, something like that, that's always possible.
Yeah.
But no, this is what our plan is for the site plan, this
Okay,
is
so
what,
you'll
this
be
is
all
what our
set.
plan would be moving forward to
Work on that
Yes.
track. Okay,
So, our planning board engineer will give us some comments to planning board.
Yep.
The codes office will give comments, we'll combine them, there'll be the comments of the planning board that we'll get out after Christmas, before Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
yeah, but you wanna stay on the.
We want to stay on track, yeah, but I mean,
Right.
it's not like we're trying to start.
No, it's not like there's any uncertainties regarding
Yeah.
our willingness to cooperate.
But,
Yeah.
you know, part of the reason that the product better sent in is this is a concept meeting.
Yeah.
So we wanted the whole board to see what the concept was, so that as we move forward, we can streamline the process.
Yep.
You
No,
know,
I think the use is great.
yeah.
The use is great. They're taking down a building.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I agree.
It's
I'm
gonna
good.
be very nice.
So I just wanna know what you did with James Boglioli.
He was in Pittsburgh last night, actually, so he was
I
not,
told him
he was not able
we
to.
sent in our regards.
I will let him know.
So we missed it.
Since I worked for James, he's like, you're actually good at doing stuff,
Okay.
but it's better than driving to Pittsburgh yesterday.
All right, thank you.
Not a problem. One quick question for the 3 mile on the city of Syracuse. Should I just handle this directly with Syracuse, or do you guys have to make an actual referral as part of the process? I can do it on
Jamie, I think the 3 mile, we don't have to have a referral, right? He can do that himself.
To do the,
3 miles
Cities.
with the city.
well, when,
I
at
can
the
handle it
end,
directly,
yeah.
which is no
That's
problem. I just didn't know if it had to be part of. Like,
I don't think it has to be a
referral or anything
no.
like that form. Okay,
I think
we'll handle it with Syracuse then.
Yeah.
That was
It's gotta go to the county too, so I don't want that to hold you up, but you get that out as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful holiday.
Okay, Farmington, change of use. Local medical and adult use cannabis dispensary.
Good evening. I'm Corey Auerbach from the law firm of Barkley Damon, joined by Brandon Nemec from PharmaCann Verilife. Brandon made the trip from Chicago, and so I appreciate him being here to backstop any questions that you may have regarding the proposed co-located medical and adult use cannabis facility at 5841 Bridge Street. To orient you, although I'm sure you're all very familiar with the facility, this is on the west side of Bridge Street, across from Dunn Tire, between the Planet Fitness and the Community Bank, south of 690.
I'm still a veteran, emergency veterinarian, so.
Emergency Veterinary Center. So you will be
The vet's
correct,
better.
the former AT&T space, exactly right. So the veterinary clinic will remain. PharmaCann is proposing to relocate a existing medical dispensary that's in Liverpool to this location. Basically because of its terrific access, it's in a central commuter corridor. It's got plenty of existing parking and existing buffering and screening. It's really a great opportunity for them to relocate to a more appropriate retail space. We did submit all of the required application forms in strict compliance with the special permit and site plan requirements of your code related to cannabis dispensary. I know that this is a newer use in the town, it's a newer use in the state, and so we were very careful to strictly comply with all the specific requirements, including the submittals. We were able to obtain a New York State licensed engineer certified radius map, which we included in a supplemental submittal, just because there are those specific location requirements in your code, and we wanted to make sure that you understood that we strictly complied with both New York State Office of Cannabis Management, MRTA requirements, and also the town of DeWitt local zoning requirements. So we thought we'd come. We also have PharmaCann's director of architecture on the phone with us in case there are any specific questions, but there is no new construction associated with this. This is all internal rebuild, not proposing any site modifications to the site design. We do have two controlled access points at the north and south of the location that are fully signalized. And we believe that this is a really terrific location. It's in the business district, which your code identifies as appropriate for a cannabis dispensary. And really, you know, we're here to answer any questions that you might have as we move towards a formal site plan application. We did submit all the application materials, but wanted to collect any feedback as we move through your process.
I agree with everything you said. I'll defer to the rest of the board.
it's all internal, you're not doing any external building modifications?
There will be some facade improvements and signage associated with this, but as far as site design, there's no modifications. The site is over parked by about 25 spaces. If you calculate based upon the square footage of each of the uses independently, we are 23 parking spaces over what the requirement would be. It's a pretty open site.
So the signage is certainly one of them.
Exterior lighting,
Exterior lighting, they've got parking,
signage,
trees.
right, so we need counts and that,
And I can.
oh, no, it will require a special use permit as
Yeah, and our understanding is that the planning board will refer us to the zoning board.
yes, we'll make a recommendation.
Yeah, great.
So it's medical use, so it's not, so.
It's a co-located
both
medical
medical
and
and-
adult use facility.
But not on-site
There's
consumption.
absolutely no on-site consumption proposed now or in the future for this location.
What's your percentage of medical versus?
Sure, absolutely. Brady Nemick on behalf of PharmaCann New York LLC, our trade name is Verilife Dispensary. Counselor Brandon Nemick, NEMEC. And Counselor, just to clarify, the current license that we have is a medical only license in the town of Liverpool. As Corey did a nice job of laying out, the purpose for our relocation of that site from Liverpool is simply that we've outgrown that space. It's a medical only operation. As the state has authorized since 2015, 2016 operations. The purpose for our relocation is to get to a bigger space, more appropriate commercial corridors here on Bridge Street. And so that's why we've identified what we think is really an ideal location here at 5841 Bridge Street. I would say if we had to provide a projection, it would just be a projection right now. And we operate in 8 state markets throughout the nation. We have a tremendous amount of experience operating in these co-located both medical and adult use functions. And I would say it's probably going to end up being about 30-70, just based on projections. So our medical patient base will be about 30 and about 70% for the recreational adult use. We expect sales will increase from our current Liverpool footprint about 2 to 3 times.
Is it a staffing thing between the medical where you're doing whatever fun with the patients versus just sales where it's one person hand, like the sales?
Yeah. So we have it, and we'll set the sales floor up appropriately. The state regulations and state standards all contemplate this, right? These co-located facilities. So the way we'll handle it is we'll have a separate check-in area for medical patients to verify their medical patient status. Have a separate check-in area, a separate staffer that's checking in adult use consumers to verify that they're 21 and over and eligible to make a purchase. The medical patients are going to be escorted in to their own kiosk where they can consume it. We have to keep a state licensed New York pharmacist on staff. Consultation. I hope that answers it for you. Yeah, and then adult use consumers proceed through a separate path and check out more quickly.
So the medical use, what would you say your the population in terms of customer use per hour?
Right now, it's probably about 5 to 10 patients per hour. And as I said, we expect about a 2 to 3 times increase. So that'll probably jump to during our peak hours, which are just normal retail hours, early evenings on weekdays, early afternoons on weekends. It'll probably jump to about 15 to 30 customers per hour, including
Like that, you're looking at 100 retail from the dispensary from the non-medical.
I'm sorry, combined, probably up around that 30 per hour range during the peak hours. Yeah, 30 combined. That's correct.
What are your operating hours?
They'll be consistent with local code, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day.
And the pharmacist is on staff, but they're not in the building.
The pharmacist is in building on site. In building on site.
So 9 to 9, you have a pharmacist there.
That's correct. During operational hours, and that's to maintain that medical licensure, that medical status. That's been a requirement since the beginning of the New York program.
Any other questions?
The co-located use, I don't think I've seen this. Is this are there any precedents? Has this been built anywhere in New York State already? As an example of this kind of dual use?
It's a good question. So the reason that these co-located sites are coming to the foray now is because the state of New York, of course, passed a recreational adult use law, as I'm sure you're all well aware, a couple years back now. It was in March of 2021 that was enacted. And over the last 2 years has been promulgating regulations anticipating a regulatory framework for existing medical companies like ours that already have dispensaries in operation to add on the adult use customer base. So these are going to be very new. The precedent is going to begin, to answer your question, in January of next year.
So
the first co-located dually licensed medical and adult use dispensaries will start to become licensed due to the time it took to promulgate
the new law, right? But we don't really have an example to rely on just in terms of the intensity of use. I think that's where a lot of these questions are coming from. Is
we're trying to get our heads around this.
I know.
The parking and but there's no use on site.
Of course not. No. This is specifically a retail function, and that is going to be prohibited. There isn't an on-site consumption lounge license that's available under New York state law. And I can tell you unequivocally now and into the future, we never intend to turn this into any sort of a on-site consumption lounge.
And customer throughput is very closely regulated. Maybe talk to them a little bit about the way with the medical customers, you're able to schedule the actual operations.
Yeah, for medical and recreational customers, as I mentioned, we operate in these co-located sites. The precedent for us exists in states like Illinois and Massachusetts, most recently Maryland, that just allowed for its medical program to transition over into recreational. There's precedent throughout the nation for it. New York, it's just now coming online. The way that we handled it, as I mentioned, not only in the way that we prioritize medical patients so that they have their own separate check-in and can proceed to a consultation, but we also we'll have it set up so that we have medical patients prioritized for parking, medical patients prioritized with an adequate supply. This is all required under the state regulation and the state framework in order to maintain to make sure that the consumer experience is the same for medical patients.
Is it all walk-in, or do you do scheduled appointments?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I was transitioning. Is so we have just like when you think of a mobile coffee order at Starbucks or a mobile pickup order at a restaurant. We have the functionality. We have an app available or a website that our customers and patients can log in with their email and set up a scheduled appointment. And as you can imagine, predominantly, given that it's a retail-only function, this isn't an on-site consumption lounge or anything like that. Once people get familiar with the products that they enjoy, that they like, that for the medical patients that are the best aid in their treatment, they predominantly will use. I think it's over 70% of our transactions are these pre-scheduled pickup times where they say, up to 48 hours in advance, but typically, of course, it's that day. They can schedule a time, and that allows us to control that customer flow and control that customer throughput so that we can manage, prioritize consultations with patients, make sure that we're not causing any congestion or parking lag or traffic lag at all. So we do have it well managed so that we're able to keep customers coming through in a nice setting.
So when the patient comes in, are they being sent in by their physician? And is the product is recommended, or do they sit down with the physician or the pharmacist?
So they start, the patient starts, the registration starts with a consultation with a physician who will make a recommendation and enter them into the state registration portal as a medical patient. And from there, they're authorized as a medical patient to buy product. And so they'll come into our retail location, and there is a not practitioner, excuse me. Pharmacist. Thank you. There's a pharmacist on site that's able to consult with them and say, "What's your condition?" They can have a private consultation, and they're able to speak to the pharmacist and talk about what kind of products might best treat their health.
It's very helpful. Any other questions? So you listen to the 21st, the next submission date, the fact that you're not changing anything, the interior should go well, Doug.
Yeah, so once again, this was a concept.
Right.
But the planning and zoning department felt that it was a complete application. We wanted to get it in, we wanted to have a hurry. His clients come in.
So what else does?
Well, we have to do a close retreat.
We do. We have a site plan, floor plan.
I'm piquing my curiosity. The layout, so.
Same area. So.
Yeah.
Certainly in the presentation, if not, I can just pull up.
We had prepared like a full slide deck for you. It's not, I can't find it in the folder.
It's just a paper copy and we can get the whole presentation emailed out.
I'm just trying to understand the flow and how it moves in that space.
So single.
That was my phone store before.
So that's what I was saying.
Public access
It looks so
here.
chopped
I'll
up.
hold this up in just a second and you can kind of get.
Doug,
That thing is gonna
Doug,
be
so you go down to the PM, go back to the site plan, the one that has the green, infill.
Yeah. And so this will be our space here. Here's the sales floor, it's massive, 3,400 square feet. It's honestly.
So that green is all their space.
Since point access here.
9,500 square feet.
Right, so it's, I mean, it just looks very kind of.
We'll be able to control customer flow through here. There's little kiosks set up throughout, with little tablets. Where if you haven't made a pre-order. So it's not a home for customers. Go through our menu. There's no product.
First console area.
Console area is back here. There's maybe formatted these spaces. Yeah, we'll just try to fight out. Product consultation.
So Doug, excuse me, you'll get the comment letter organized between your.
Yeah, Mark and I will work.
Okay, get that out next week. Get out. Any other questions?
Granted my question.
Yeah.
Nick, just get there, you're all set. Okay, moving on. Okay. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you coming out. Yeah, okay, great. Perfect spot. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Josh Werbeck. I'm attorney Duske Holstein. I'm here on behalf of Loudpack Exotics. Jonathan Max, the sole member of the LLC, is here. We've been here a few times. If you don't mind, I just want to go over, we'll kill that stuff, don't worry about it. We'll get it.
Get it.
Something I'm allergic to, I'm sure.
I just come right towards you.
Yeah. Really want to hit it.
Stinger on the back.
Not onto the TV, please. And how long it took us to get that TV?
All right.
There we go.
I can have your attention.
It's a little here,
I vote for it. That's the best action we've
Just
seen.
have the screen goes half off.
All right,
All right, I just want to give a quick overview of where we stand, what we've gone through so far. Tell you what we've accomplished, and then I want to get to dealing with what we probably all want to talk about, which is this sign, okay? So real quick, we've been before we applied back in August, we had our concept meeting in September. We applied for this special use permit. We came back to the planning board, we made a referral to the SBA or the ZBA. We've been to the ZBA, we had a long presentation there, a long discussion, but they did vote to approve the special permit, the special use permit. Now we're back here tonight. There's only been one update and change since the last time we met before you. And that's that we've been working with the developers of District East. And they've sent us a correspondence indicating they're taking a position on our application. So they're not indicating that this is something that's going to throw that for a loop. This is not something that they're wildly opposed to. They're not here opposing it tonight. And Charlie Brewer did send me this email, and I can hand you a copy of it if you want, indicating the same. This was shared with the ZBA, so this was written for the ZBAs. It wasn't a part of our concept here. Yeah, I don't need to prove it to you, but the ZBA did approve the special use permit. There's been no changes to our application.
Did they approve the special use as we had recommended, or was it changed?
They did not, because they were advised by their council that the special use permit has to be for as long as the current owner owns the property.
Don't hold that against us. We were willing to adopt the planning board's recommendations, and we said that to them. We said, again, listen, if this is what's gonna hold between us.
It should be. We just wanna get.
Yeah.
No, that's new to me too.
That wasn't something we objected to.
No.
We acknowledged that we, period of time to prove that the site was appropriate and that our business model was operating, within bounds was fine.
Okay.
There are other ways to remove a problem property without just a timeline either, and I don't need to tell you guys that. If it becomes a nuisance, it's a nuisance, that's not what's gonna happen. So.
That's your website.
You need me to bring the paper back over? So. You were here on our final meeting really, but something, did come up a couple days ago and. The town's attorney, Matt, did give me a call about it, the sign that went up. It's way bigger than.
Before we get to the
Yeah.
sign.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get that on last. What do we need to do now to move it forward on this?
So
Other than the sign?
if you're satisfied with the site plan, which I believe the board generally was.
I think we had some
prior-
things with the equipment, we wanted to address that.
Yeah, making sure that it was screened.
Yeah, they didn't finish the screening of the equipment, but
We were led to believe the seller was, but whatever screening was supposed to go up, we'll put out. This is a picture I took of the property, I thought they had the screening there. But
Yeah, I think.
was there a side that wasn't?
I don't know, it could be my eyesight, it was difficult to see.
There's a better picture, of it, I guess. Up on top, this is the screening.
Yes.
I think that they completed
That
that.
was it.
Yeah, I think once we looked at it,
Okay,
It was good, yeah.
it was complete.
I guess I thought there was something coming out from that
Okay.
that was describing that, but that was my own recollection of what we had approved.
Yeah, one thing was a big hug this.
There is the big candy cane.
There is a big candy cane, yeah.
Okay, so you're all comfortable with the screening as it is now? Okay. What an improvement this building is over what we had before, I think. And then the parking. I thought that was an issue, but where do we stand?
Well, so the parking is within the code. The CBA didn't put any restrictions on it. I noticed that page 2 of this proposed resolution is actually missing, but I had recommended that we have a condition that regular or habitual parking off the site of customers or employees is a violation of the site plan approval. Now, we did hear that Hugo Brewer may allow the parking, but it can't be allowed without site plan approval or parking within 500 feet. And it would have to come back in.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I mean, we didn't want to present that because it's not official yet, but that's something we're working on just in case something happens. So before we let customers park, they want to come back to modify the site plan then? Okay, it's not in the books yet anyway. It's just been a conversation.
No, I just wanted to be prepared.
Okay.
We had the groundwork done. Was there anything else that I drove around the site? It's exactly what we stipulated when Goodfellow put it in. It looks great. Okay, so are we to the sign? That's it?
Right. It's the sign's condition, right? So.
Well, yes, this.
No, I know, but then we have.
Talking about the sign, the sign is a mutual mistake. I mean,
We're being mutual. We didn't have anything to do with it.
Not
so I
between this- not between this-
Get us involved with that.
But there was we realized we're in the site plan process, at least I did. The part of this process is the exterior building. But our sign contractor are jumping on it, so we had told them to move forward. I meant move forward when we're ready to finish this, but then the permit was issued so quickly that he took the permit, went out and built the sign and installed it. He didn't read this notation, 20 square feet sign, and built a 60 square.
But also requires approval.
It also requires approval, that's right. The sign is the last.
There's also nothing on there that says it's a backlit sign, that it's 4 inches projecting off the building, like, I mean, there's very little information, and what's shown up on site is a backlit box sign with giant letters
We're
written on
changing
the
it.
side of it.
It's not really what we anticipated.
So we can move forward without signage, but that would need to come back for planning board approval.
Because you need to see it in a diagram, because one of the proposals is to build this sign. You know, this size and in this location, or a sign of a different size in a different location.
Well, it has to meet code, otherwise it needs to
Well,
go
I
back.
think the current one meets code, but it hasn't been approved before.
The current one that's up? No.
Current one, no, okay.
No. It's not even close to meeting code. It was, so the percentage of the facade that it can cover is 10%
Okay.
maximum.
The lighting.
So, and there also has to be lighting. So anyway, it's all in the purview of this board. So the recommendation would be, I think, I mean, materials.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see what it's gonna be, right there, and that, I appreciate what's there right now. But there's no description, there's no understanding of what that is, it's letters on the side of the building right now. And I wanna know what it is.
A shop drawing from the sign company
Yeah.
is all.
Cut sheets.
Yeah.
The lighting, all of that will be needed.
Do you want to come introduce yourself? I mean, I don't know, so this board would not approve something conditionally today, because there's nothing before you.
Not a
approve it.
sign.
Not a sign, we can approve everything but the sign.
Okay.
And you'd have to return.
You know what, stop. Hi, everybody, I'm Jonathan Maxim, I'm the owner of Loudback. So I guess I'm probably gonna take some ownership in this. I'm new to the whole development process, you know, so I just, yes, okay, let's go, I need this done, and I made a mistake. And I just gotta stand up here as a man and just own it. I did it, I made a mistake, I put my attorney under the gun, you know what I mean, I put my sign guy under the gun, and I'm not gonna let him sit up here and squirm, and him sit up here and squirm when I'm the one that should be squirming.
It sounds like we just need to bring back some sound plans, but then we
Yeah,
bring back everything else.
when this happened, when Josh called me, you know, I'm a compliance officer from my other company. I'm the owner and I'm also the compliance officer, so I'm huge on compliance. And, you know, I killed the power to the sign, you know, immediately, no power, no light. And, you know, I guess I'm just here, you know, the signage, you know, take, you know, whatever the board tells me to do, that's what's.
Just follow the code.
Yeah, but we're not opposed to the sign, I think it's fine, we just wanna make sure that it complies, that we're comfortable with it, that it works for both the building, and the neighborhood. You know,
I believe Matt gave you pretty definite direction.
He just wasn't sure. I think tonight we can approve the site plan except without no signage.
Yes.
Correct. And that would be perfect for us. And we're gonna close on a loan, then you can.
Yeah, that's right. I don't wanna get
Apply
into
the
us
sign.
doing the sign and the percentage and everything.
Let's go with that.
You can bring that.
So we need to present this. I didn't apply for it the correct way.
Yeah, well, let's let it go through the codes off review and
Well,
they've already done that.
well, we're not, the codes office isn't going to review it. Whenever, if it's part of site plan approval, then it comes to this board for approval. So that, and Josh understands that. So if it were like something that didn't need site plan approval, like, oh, we had to change the tenant, then it just goes to the codes office. So it should always have been here and it was part of this, so that's why everyone was surprised that it hadn't been approved, and then all of a sudden.
Or the project.
The project
We did get go through the proper channels, got the permit, the square footage allotment is 75 square feet. That's 64 square feet.
Subject to the 10% limit. Though.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
so, yes, yeah, there's other limitations, and I think they weren't, they weren't completely understood, and
We filled out the
what's a,
paperwork,
like, what's a facade and so
paid
forth.
for it. It applied for it the correct way. and it was approved, we got paperwork that says it's all.
Well, it doesn't need to go through planning board, so we'll just, we can move forward on that, and then you can sidebar the side.
Well, I don't think the sidebar yet, it's coming back here.
Right. Well, I'm in sidebar for tonight.
Okay, yeah.
I don't wanna redo it here
So
tonight.
do you need signage? We don't need signage right now, but we wanna know that we can close on a loan for the dispensary without any signs until we come back to this board with a full sign plan.
We can take care of everything.
That's fine with you, right?
And did we look at the exterior lighting, has that changed at all from the? Is it-
It's in the plan, the lighting is in here.
And it's got exterior. If it's the same.
It's the same. Exact same.
Okay, so I have a.
So Jamie, my understanding, having spoken with you and Matt, is that Matt had spoken to Josh.
Yeah.
And there was a
Yeah,
a good understanding of what needed to be done.
I just.
Sent me a very nice email that I didn't put on the screen, so.
So I think the next step would be like Jenny said.
Okay, what's the date of the
Get the
plan
details of
submitted?
the sign.
The site plan submitted, what is that date?
August,
So Jamie, my interpretation would be within the next couple of weeks, so we can schedule Josh back on, is to get the details on the sign. Like the shop drawings or whatever.
And if we can get all the stuff by next Thursday, the 21st.
Yeah.
Get all that in, we're back here by the
11th.
By the 11th, and we can close on the sign as long as the board's comfortable.
Okay, I don't think that would be.
Yeah, kind of a box signs then.
yeah.
Right.
No, you have to have it.
Come with something.
Why don't I give you a call when I get some design
Not
ideas
me.
from our guy?
We try to make her a designer.
Jeannie loves all the design.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion, move forward on, the motion to approve the site plan is submitted and dated August 23rd, 2023, with the following findings and conditions. The finding in this matter is the first in the town of DeWitt seeking approval for site plan specific permit for retail cannabis dispensary pursuant to 192-690.169.1 of the town code. The zoning district and location therein is allowable under the cannabis regulations of the town as well as the state of New York, which largely regulates this type of use. The planning board made a referral on the specific permit as enacted under the cannabis retail dispensary recommendation that recommended a condition relating to the parking be implemented as part of the specific permit. CBA by a 4-2 vote granted the specific permit, but did not include the condition for an 18-month parking permit to evaluate the parking patterns on and around the site. ZBA was advised that New York State requires a specific permit to last the duration of the ownership of private tenant. The public hearing was held on this matter in the zoning board of appeals and none was required for this board. Notice that sent to the county planning board relating to this application, and Illinois County Planning Board advised that this application was exempt from their review. The board has reviewed the environmental assessment form and applicant finds no significant negative environmental impacts from the project as presented to this board. The applicant recently erected a sign on the face of the building, of which is the subject of this pending matter prior to receiving site plan approval of the board is required by the town to do it code. The applicant acknowledged that the sign on the premises being significantly in excess of the square footage allowable by the town zoning code must be removed and the appropriate approval on signage must be obtained from the planning board. This is notwithstanding the sign was erected apparently with a permit and appropriately issued by the Department of Planning and Zoning as to jurisdiction, allowable square footage and other site plan considerations. Conditions: the sign currently on the building of the premises must be removed by the applicant within 7 days herein. No signage is approved. The applicant must come back on the 21st of December for a board meeting on January 11th with proper submittals, including any lighting and cut sheets for the regulation. Regular or habitual park, outside of the customer or employees of this establishment will be violation of the site plan approval. This approval is made with a further condition that the approvals for plans and other submitted documents, both site plan documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant requires that all the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for certificate of occupancy of compliance to be issued. Any proposed changes, addition, deletion, scope of work for materials from the site plan documents are not approved And it's subject to further site plan review pursuant to town of code, section 192-122. I made the motion, second?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Amy, on the paragraph regarding the special use permit, the last sentence reads. ZBA was advised that New York State requires a specific permit to last the duration of the ownership of the tenant. That's kind of a weird way to describe.
Yeah, because it's a
Ownership of the building.
of the product.
No, of the owner of the cannabis license, maybe.
Yeah, the owner of the operator.
Operator.
Yeah.
The license to operate.
Okay.
And does there need to be hours of operation?
No, it's in the town code. You know, we've already voted on that. I think it's 10, something 99. So that's already handled in the context. So with that change, who would like to second that? Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, so just come back for your.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, by the way. So this was a very fast timeline, so I don't know. All right, thanks again, congratulations.
Thank you. That's the first round, it was fast.
Josh, thank you for letting me go.
Okay,
I'm a full member next year, by the way.
I heard that.
two more items that are not on the agenda, but
Matt was so relieved that I said yes.
two items. One is consultants. Consultants that we are moving forward. Both Jamie Sutton and Walton and Sutton, whatever the full name is. I think these are two separate, but Jamie to be the planning board. Excuse me, guys.
I'm sorry.
No.
Let's take it on.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The legal for the planning board
Attorney.
attorney. And then same Rambo, Mark Barrett with Rambo, the planning board engineer. So what I need to those. Nathan, Kathy, for Jamie, there's legal counsel. You didn't look to the right. Right. But they're very liberal and you're very conservative. You want to know what people are gonna do. That's unanimous. Unanimous. And secondly, for our friend and colleague, Mark, the consultant, for engineer, I'm gonna say, okay. I've got Joe and Leif, and then all in favor? Aye. Thank you. So that's done. That's a decent, no, I got one more. We have the awards though. And I just saw the results. It's just so you know, I got the arm's length.
I have a lot of chances.
Our legal counsel has kept all the nominations. We missed one, but I don't think it would have changed the votes. There were 9 that rose to the top.
Okay, so here's who they are. So it was in no particular order, but it was just 9. Like I know people voted for 12, but once you got it after those few, it was like all over the place. Some I think I remember myself. So Lemoyne, Jiffy Lube, Pinsky, Im's Taylor Shop, Feldmeyer, Nottingham Memory, Chapter Aesthetic, First Tea and Bourbon. Yes.
So those all won awards and.
Well, those are, I guess that we're gonna bring it up for a vote. This was.
Well, yeah, they want the vote to place. We want to have a vote as to make the awards. And what I talked to Nathan about, and I think Kathy brought this up. I would, at least for the time through December 31st, and Nathan or months that include me, would personally visit with anybody from the planning board, the award winners, instead of trying to bring everybody in and take away a meeting. You're gonna be very busy and take the awards and the plaques once they're done by the town. You go through you for. Yep. For the plaques and do the, congratulations and photos. Personally in their office.
Are we going to do it in the first meeting or the second meeting?
They're not gonna,
No, I think Peter's offering to meet with them individually.
individually, they're not gonna have.
Outside of this, you know, without a forum, board, obviously, but. Meet with them and provide them with what's the plaques.
Because we're not gonna do anything.
No.
And I would actually, you know, have Peter do it. Spend a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
And I would add, that in some cases, thank you very much, but in some cases, that, you know, whether it's late for IHOP, have worked very hard on the IHOP, or,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, it's a board effort.
it's a board effort, but it,
Leadership thing.
anybody wants to join, you know, sometimes I know Kathy, just to show our, you know, the significance of this. It was in reaction to, I think Kathy, and I respect this, and rather than cut the number down, because there were 4 years that we're talking about,
Right.
then it's the same number, and then we would, visit them.
Right.
And that
It's
would,
really not that much difference in number, actually.
well, it is, I just assume not just all in one shot. Do it.
Yeah.
So,
May I comment?
wait, let me just
Your-
finish that.
Your Highness.
Let's. I'm not done yet. I've got 15 days left here, but, so let's vote out. Let's just, those were the nominations. And they were specific from all of the projects. And again, it wasn't limited to the 90 I shared in the book. Did you all get the electronic version?
Yes.
Because I might go.
Reading material for my kids in the backseat. I'm not gonna, I mean, I went through the whole thing, but they.
Well, Daria said.
It's sitting in the backseat.
Daria said at dinner, if I hear.
Like, these are awesome.
About granite curves.
Your
and,
daughter?
well, she's so young enough to be my daughter. That's another story. You'd laugh if you actually do the age difference. At any rate,
Is she your wife?
yes.
Oh,
I
what's
was
the
a
age
Freudian
difference? I wanna know now.
Not in the,
No, not on the. I think that may violate several, any rate, so let's have a vote on those, you move. Oh, unanimous, okay, so that's good, and the consultant, congratulations, by the way.
Move
Mark.
second, then unanimous.
Yeah, we got that.
Can we do it in order?
So now the floor is yours.
Yes,
Before we
so we
adjourn.
did not solicit specifically votes for the Michael Lazar Award, but everyone put in a vote, and the unanimous decision was Peter Weber for the Michael Lazar Award. But spontaneously.
Embarrassed, but
So-
Michael's a dear friend, and all of you are as well, and I thank you for that honor, and I consider it an honor. So do I present that to myself? Is that
No.
how that works?
You can have breakfast.
It's like, that's what I do normally.
You'll have to come back for
You
the.
have to come in, you're not gonna do that, and you know, bring Daria and your daughter.
Okay. No, thank you all. I accept it because it is a team effort. Many of you have been here for well, not, I don't know, 17 years. Who's been here the longest other than myself? That's 18 years.
15.
It's been, a lot of you have been here.
A lot of here, it's been amazing, but let's make a motion to adjourn, and then I need 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Okay, and I got Kathy, Nathan, all in favor? Okay, so I tried to cover a little bit with the.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I guess it doesn't like to double click.
It's not set up now.
Right.
It's against the wall by now.
I thought that guy was really good with the bug. I was impressed.
I know, I'm like.
And.
Why, I couldn't